What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, coming to you live on the 28th day of April 2023. 9 o'clock in the morning here on the third planet from the sun, on a lovely island off the coast of Costa Rica, affectionately referred to as Site B. It is I, your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense that is the OG GM. And it's Friday, which means it's time to take a look at the tabletop role-playing game news stories we might have missed because we were obsessing over Wizards of the Coast being dumb yet again. So this is the time of the week when we check to see if there's been any updates with the ORC, with Tales from the Valiant, with 1D&D, and then if there's any other news that we might have missed during the week, like the huge sale over on Cobalt. So let's start with our friends over at Paizo. Hey, Paizo, have you made any changes to the ORC since last time we checked? No, you haven't. What you have done is let us know that you're working on Pathfinder 2.1, or more specifically, Pathfinder Core. Pathfinder Core. Yeah, Pathfinder Core is coming out. It's going to have new remastered covers and brand new art because, of course, it will. They're remastering the Pathfinder Player's Handbook 2nd Edition to Pathfinder Core, and the Pathfinder 2nd Edition GM's Guide to Pathfinder GM Core, and the Pathfinder Monster Manual to Pathfinder Monster Core. And then did you know they made a second Player's Handbook for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but that's also being renamed to Pathfinder Player Core 2. What is the point of this? To get ahead of the whole OGL ORC thing. They want to make sure that all their product going forward falls under the ORC and is not affected by whatever changes Wizards of the Coast might make to the OGL, even though they have OGL now is the new Wizards of the Coast Common Core thing. Now, how much are these new books going to cost us? Probably a pretty penny. Could there have been an easier and less expensive way for Pathfinder to do, for Paizo to do this? Probably. But no, we need new art, new covers, and 4 brand new books to do something that could have been covered in a 5-page errata. Meanwhile, we will know that when this comes out, it will be totally compatible with the ORC, even though the ORC isn't finished yet. And it'll be totally backwards compatible with every previous product that's been made for Pathfinder 2. So you won't need to rebuy all the stuff. And they're not going to make any new stuff. They're just going to make the same stuff they've been making, just going forward. Anything that might have been covered by the OGL, like, I don't know, something from the DM's Guide, Wand of Wonder, Hayward's Handy Haversack, Bigby's Crutching Ice Cream Cone. Well, they're getting rid of anything that connects them to the OGL/D&D. So it won't be called the Wand of Wonder. It'll be called the Wand of Random Stuff. And it won't be called Hayward's Bag of Holding. It'll be called this Steve's Suitcase of Portability. And it won't be called Bigby's Crushing Ice Cream Cone. It'll be called Steve's Crushing Ice Cream Cone, or just Crushing Ice Cream Cone. So yeah. We're flushing out anything that connects us to the OGL, presenting you a brand new Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Anything going forward will be covered by the new 2nd Edition, but the old stuff's still fine. If you find an old copy of a Pathfinder 2 adventure, there's like 5 of them, and see something in it that vaguely resembles something from the OGL, you can still use it. You won't have to buy all new versions of the module. So this is not a 2nd Edition. This is just making sure that everything going, but if we can still use the old stuff and it's going to be forward compatible with everything going forward and the ORC is going to cover the old stuff, then why do we need 4 new books? Wouldn't a 5-page errata do the exact same thing and cost you less money and cost us less money, Paizo? By the way, where's the ORC? Because it's May. We still haven't seen it. All right. Going forward, what else going on with Tales from the Valiant? And nothing. Nothing's going on from Tales from the Valiant. Absolutely nothing. Where's your blog? Do they have a blog? They have a blog. What's going on with the blog? Let's check the blog. Adventure. Valiant Friday arrives. Playtest packet 3. I haven't received that yet. I already should sign up. How come I haven't got it? But okay, I'll sign up again. So apparently playtest packet free has been up. I didn't know that. And it's monsters. Okay. So these will be the new monsters for Tales from the Valiant. I'll try and get a copy of this. I don't know why I don't have it already. But all right, whatever. Also, they're doing a huge sale on Kobold. So if you ever wanted to pick up any of their 5e stuff, like the Midgard stuff, looks like it's all going up for sale because they're moving their wherever it is they keep their product to a new place that they keep their product. I guess that means the physical stuff. But the PDFs are on sale too. So if you want to catch up with everything that's going on in the world of Midgard, which I've heard good things about, looks like the PDFs and the stuff is on sale. So, but damn, Ginny D, our friend Ginny D, did sort of a little one of her little skits about the Kobold versus 5e thing, where she was doing her usual semi-fun talking to her characters to see what's the difference between Valiant and normal 5e, because like me, she's of the same, mindset that right now they look exactly the same. And they do look exactly the same. I mean, other than different words, 5e and Valiant look kind of the same right now. So hopefully going forward, especially when we see these monster thing, which for some reason I haven't received, we'll find out how much different, because it's got to push it in one direction or the other. Otherwise, people are going to go, oh, I've already got 5e. Do I really need to buy another 5e? Even if Wizards of the Coast is no longer going to support 5e, I've already got it. So what are you offering me that I don't already have? So, yeah, as much as we appreciate you stepping up, Kobold, we need to see something to make us really want to spend money on something that we might already have. And speaking on spending money on something we already have, let's check what's going on with this thing. Yep, brand new has come out. Here it is, Player's Handbook Playtest 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they got their math right for once. This is available on D&D Beyond. If you don't already have D&D Beyond, you can get the PDF right here. I said I would go through it, even though I said I wouldn't go through it. I was like, I'm not going to read any more Wizards of the Coast stuff. You guys don't want me to. But then a whole bunch of people are like, you didn't read it. You're talking trash about it without reading it. You don't understand. You're dumb. So I was like, fine, I'll read it on Saturday. I guess the big changes are the weapon proficiency thing and the, what the good guys get that the bad guys don't get and other stuff and the classes. And what classes do get the weapon proficiency thingy and what classes don't get the weapon proficiency thingy. And I guess it looks like they've kind of screwed over Warlocks and, of course, Rangers, because apparently Wizards of the Coast hates Rangers. And a couple other classes. I don't know. I'll read it because apparently you guys get upset because I didn't. So whatever. Other than that, yep, that's it. We know that the new playtest is out. Now that we've gone through the 4 biggie, let's see what's going on with the rest of the world. I know there was some announcements we missed. So checking out. Okay, so this thing. Modifius is announcing their own role-playing world. And you might be thinking, wait, Modifius already has role-playing worlds. Like, no, actually they don't. They have stuff they've bought the rights to, like Star Trek and Dune and Fallout and whatever else, Conan, but they just sell that. But they technically have never made their own completely independent world. And now they are. This is going to be using, I guess, 2D20, the system they're most known for. It's called Dreams and Machines. Dreams and Machine is a world cut off from Earth, a far-flung outpost of humanity where mechs and futuristic tech dominate society. The world is in ruins after a war with the machines. Dun, 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 dun. Now mechs lay dormant, but when they activate, these walkers bring destructions. Factions like the Archivists and the Dreamists are rebuilding the world in their own way, growing and trading what they can with other communities. The shadow specter of Dark City sulk around, and the malevolent, corrupted AI known as the Builder is plotting against humanity. What will you do to save the human race on this cyberpunk, post-apocalypse, alien, weird, vaguely anime, scrappers, not Fallout, but Fallout world? Humans versus robots on an alien world with some pretty decent looking, okay, but not quite that exciting art. I guess we've got to sign up for this. Okay. So there we go. Modifius is now going to be making their own unique world. I mean, okay, yeah, it doesn't sound that unique, but it's it's a combination of stuff that's been done before and a brand new, interesting way to do it. This guy's carrying a broken bicycle that he's hung a chain on it so he can carry a wheel and a door. And then he looks like some kind of arc welder hanging from his belt, and a giant... Dude, you're wearing a target on your chest. So is this guy. This guy's wearing literally, you have a target on your chest. You have a big blue circle right on your chest. Like every bad guy's gonna be like, dude, aim for the circle. Look at this guy. He's got a circle on his chest. Just aim there. This guy, again, look at, he's got a target on his chest. He's got this big blue thing right here. It's like literally saying, aim here, shoot here. And look at this on his eyes. It's like, aim here, just shoot your arrow. And this guy's the only one who's like, yep, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm totally just wearing normal, vaguely normal clothes. I do have a bright yellow backpack. I've got a staff made out of metal parts. Oh, I'm all cool. I've got light bulbs in my hair. But at least I'm not one of these idiots wearing a target on my chest. Well, congratulations, Modifius, for making your own original, but not quite original world. Hopefully it'll amount to something. We were all kind of hoping you would have done something with the Elder Scrolls license, since you at least have your fingers in it. But nope, you did this instead. Evil Genius Game has finally print their DC Modern update called Everyday Heroes, which is an updated for the M20 Modern system that came out in the early days of the OGL. So if you ever were a fan of D20 Modern and modern day role playing with or without sorcery and stuff, this has come out. And I thought there was something else, but nope. I guess that's Blood and Doom. That's coming out. I read up on it and it sounded way more complicated. Somebody wanted me to review Blood and Doom, and I was like, it sounds overly complicated for just basically trying to be Conan. If you're a fan of Warhammer, there are some new races and classes available for the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game. That seems to be all the tabletop role-playing game news, bits and bobs of stories we might have missed because we were too busy talking about, you know what we were talking about. And if you don't know what we were talking about, it's Wizards of the Coast sending Pinkerton detectives over to somebody's else. Now we have Omar Hockman wants to talk about the Q1 Wizards of the Coast financial jiggering. How Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro turned a net negative into a positive. Hasbro stock has shot up almost $10 since Wednesday. The Q1 numbers were announced yesterday. The Q1 numbers are appalling, but apparently that's a good thing because you win by losing. And people are short selling the stocks because, I don't know, some people think it's market fixing. Well, they're already being investigated by the Washington State District Attorney. So, and I think they're also being investigated by the United States District Attorney, but I don't know if that's true or not. What time period is Q1? It was end of December, November, December, January. So January, February, March. And so it would have been covering the OGL nonsense and how much money they lost from the OGL nonsense, how much money they lost from us crashing D&D Beyond, how much money they lost because of the Magic debacle, not the current Magic debacle, the previous Magic debacle, how much money they lost from the movie, how much money they lost from the D&D Direct and D&D creative content thing, both of which we were also disasters. Now, I asked people who were smarter than me if these numbers were bad or good, because, you know, I think they're bad. Which Discord are you in? I'm in Aaron's Discord. I'm in DM Bloodworth's Discord. I'm in my Discord. I'm on the Red Rooms Discord. I'm on the Paizo ORC Discord, which is painful to read, but I'm trying to keep up on it. I'm on, those are the Discords I'm in. I'm not on the Legion of Myth one anymore. That just got too weird. Not that I don't appreciate Max and Company, but yeah. All right. So once again, to me, these look like bad numbers, but maybe I'm wrong. All right. So Q1 2022. So January, February, March 2022, they made 1,063. January, February, and March of 2023, they made 1,000,001 when they were supposed to make 1 billion. So 001 seems less to me than 163. According to this, that's a negative 14%. Now, if you go down here to net earnings for the year, how much did they lose? They are 22,000 in the hole, as opposed to net earnings of last year when they made 61.2 million or 61,200,000 or whatever this is. Anyways, it's negative 100%. So the 100% loss from Q1 last year. Now, again, negative 100% to me looks like bad. Adjusted net earnings. Okay, so that's 79.4. And this year they had 1, which is a negative 99%. So that's, again, a negative number. All these numbers have gone down since this time last year, but stock's going up. So I don't know if I think negative numbers is bad, but I guess there are people out there who thinks it's good. And if it's market sharing, I don't know what that means, but I'll ask my accountant. Would Wizards of the Coast Hasbro do something slimy in order to get themselves out of the current predicament they're in? Years ago, back when I was calling a Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro shill, and people gave me crap for saying supposedly positive things about Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, I postulated 2 things. One, you know what? It's their stuff. They can do whatever they want with it. We don't have to like it. We can think it's stupid, but at the end of the day, they own Power Rangers. They own Dungeons and Dragons. They own Transformers. If they want to set their 3 major moneymakers on fire, they can. People are like, oh, you're defending Wizards of the Coast. And I'm like, no, I'm just like, I can't, I can't stop them. I just don't have to buy their stuff. I can talk crap about them online, but they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And the second thing I postulated several years ago, and I'm sure you've heard this about before, even going all the way back to 3.5, Wizards of the Coast, in some universe, every choice they make makes some kind of weird sense. Even the most recent bizarre choice with the Pinkertons. Okay? Now, somewhere in some weird version of the universe, trying to get control of people breaking street date on their product makes sense. That's something you'd want to do. I'm not sure why, because they weren't losing any money off of it. If anything, the guy was giving them free press, building up excitement for an upcoming project. Let's just, forget everything else. And just like, dude, this guy's giving you free press. You're not losing money. If anything, you're making money because he's building up excitement for March of the Machines. But okay, whatever. So that's the most recent thing. And the most recent thing says in some universe, trying to get control of that makes sense from a business standpoint. And there's multiple ways through across the multiverse that Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast could choose to do these things, up to and including the price fixing and stock shorting and other accounting math magic that I don't understand. And when you look at the infinite universe of the infinite number of choices that they have made since 3.5 all the way up to yesterday, somewhere between the time that idea is germinated and the time it reaches our brains and we look at it, it passes through multiple layers of the multiverse of stupid. So by the time Wizards of the Coast actually implements whatever idea it was they had, it has gone from, actually that idea kind of makes sense. I can see what you're trying to do there, to, why are you so fucking stupid? Is Hasbro run by an emotionally immature 8-year-old? Yeah, I know they are, but I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why the theater industry is upset about breaking Street Date, or, you know, showing things without them making money off of it. I guess I can understand, you know, people getting copy of a book online, like, you know, the Guns and Gears book, because if you're getting it for free online, then you don't have to pay for it. So I can understand them being upset about that. But this guy wasn't giving anything free online. I mean, you couldn't even proxy the cards he was showing. He was going too fast. So yeah, and they already made money because he bought money from a legitimate seller, according to him, in good faith, according to him. So that means that a legitimate seller bought that product from Diamond or wherever, who bought it from Wizards. So if you follow the money train back to Wizards, Wizards made money. They did not lose any money up to the point where the guy was showing the cards. The guy showing the cards, the only worry could be is, oh, he's showing the cards before we wanted people to know what the cards did. Okay, but you can't proxy them. And even if you could proxy them because of the magic of computers, they're not tournament legal. So again, if people wanted to play them and take parts in the tournaments, they would. Some guy would still buy every box in the store because we know those guys exist. So at the end of the day, Friday Night Magic, when March of the Machines Aftermath went live, they still would have made bank. They would not have lost any money. Not fraud, theft, I think. And at the end of the day, the guy, old school Magic, based upon what we know, really didn't do anything wrong. And even if he did every possible worst case scenario, like I said yesterday, like, worst case scenario, the guy walked onto Wizards of the Coast property, walked into the computer room, industrial espionage that stuff off of their computer, walked off the property, went to his house, printed the stuff out, showed it on his webpage with the intent to sell, and then crossed state lines with the intent to sell, which I think is the worst possible scenario there that you could have. You know, you got industrial espionage, you got theft, you got intent to sell, you got breaking Street Date, and you got intent to sell across state lines. That's probably the worst thing, unless he killed somebody. So even then, even the worst possible scenario of all the possible choices Wizards of the Coast could make to protect their product, they chose the worst. Yes. Well, I think, yeah, the vendor claims he didn't know they were in there. That's bullshit. I worked at Game Store long enough to know that stuff like that gets in the boxes ahead of time all the time. You put them on display to build up excitement, and if somebody says, can I buy from that, you go, no, technically I'm not supposed to have it, but they sent it to us by mistake. So yeah. So that's where Wizards of the Coast should be focusing their, the Pinkertons, which was, again, the worst possible choice. The cops or, the lawyers should have sent people to start an investigation, secret shop, and then file a case against the guy and an injunction. And then you get the store shut down and you sue the guy for breaking Street Date. And then you find out, blah, blah, blah. How did that get in the box? And the shipping department's like, I don't know, fell off the back of a truck. But really, we know that Wizards of the Coast puts them in. So, yeah. Sold it to him earlier. Something. He claims that it was the set he was supposed to sell him, because it was supposed to just be March of the Machine, which was already out. and that he's done this for a long time with this vendor because this vendor wants to do more other card games and not Magic. So he sells a lot of his extra Magic cards to Old School or whatever. I don't know. That's what I heard. We don't know what's true. We're never going to know the true story. We're just going to know what we read and what Old School said. And, you know, even if 1% of what he said is absolutely true, at the end of the day, there was things you could have done, Wizards, that were better choices than what you did. I think that's the whole point. Just forget everything else, you know, brush everything else under the I don't understand the law and just look at plain common sense and everything we know about the world from watching CSI. That's what you pay lawyers tons of money for, so you don't get yourself into this kind of fish problem again. But that's it. That's all the tabletop role-playing game news that has affected us this week that has nothing to do with Wizards of the Coast, even though we just spent 10 minutes talking about Wizards of the Coast, because apparently you can't go 5 minutes without talking about Wizards of the Coast. And speaking of Wizards of the Coast, fine, I'll read the new rules and review them. I don't want to, but I will. Oh, hey, somebody sent me an email. Thank you, One Man Indie. Hopefully you have liked, shared, and subscribed. Okay, so in closing, no new news on the ORC, but we do have 4 new Paizo Pathfinder core books coming out, which I don't think we really need. Yay. No new news on Project of the Valiant, except they sent out a new Kickstart, which I didn't get, which is weird because I'm on the mailing list for the playtest. Weird. And then we knew that Wizards of the Coast posted up the new thing with the new classes, which I apparently have to read. Yay. Modifius is making their own role-playing game. Yes, it sounds really familiar, but I mean, let's face it. Are there any new original ideas? It would just have to make whatever it is they are making really, really interesting enough. Now, I think a lot of us are like, make the Elder Scrolls role-playing game. And Modifius has already dipped their fingers into the Elder Scrolls pool, so I don't know why they don't run with that. Instead, they're making Dreams of Machines, which is like, is that something that has a market? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I didn't think Tales from the Loop would have a market, but it did, so who knows? And then Tales from the Valiant, nothing new. And that's it for today. Apparently, I've got a Discord link I have to read and an email I have to read. So I'll read those. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please subscribe. If you haven't had a chance to like and share, please like and share. And now, shameless self-promotion / whatever you want to call this. I assure you, each and every one of you, that should you, shameless self-promotion, head on over to Big Geek Emporium, shameless self-promotion, and purchase any one of the 13 products I have put up for sale for $2 each on Big Geek Emporium, shameless self-promotion, and then take one of those products to your webpage or YouTube or vlog, shameless self-promotion, and review them. I will not send detectives to your house. Even if you say my product is absolutely awful, which is for sale on Big Geek Emporium for only $2 each, buy them now. I will not complain. In fact, I will be thankful for the free press. And I assure you, I will not send detectives to your house. Except Mar Hockman. I'm definitely sending people to his house. Till next time, have a great day. Stay warm, stay dry. I know the weather report says it's spring, but if you look out my window, it looks like it's winter in San Francisco. But the calendar says May. I don't know. Till next time, see ya.